Hello and welcome to Tech Deals. Acer Predator Helios 300 Gaming Laptop Computer 2018 edition. This is the first game performance video in a whole series of these that will be coming out soon on this amazing laptop. On the day I filmed this video, this was $1,199 on Amazon, and this thing is an absolute beast. You can see the stats were on the screen there a second ago. This is some information about what I use to record everything and the real-time numbers up there. But let me just say, if you want to play games on the go, if you're looking for a 15.6-inch gaming laptop computer, if you've got $1,200 to spend, stop right now and go get one of these. Linked down in the video description below, you will find the link to Amazon. It's where I bought this. Acer did not provide it to me. I bought it, and it is absolutely the best deal for $1,200 if gaming and high-end performance is your focus. 144 Hz IPS 1080p display, 6 cores, 12 threads, up to 4.1 gigahertz. The up to part's important. We'll talk about that in this and other videos. 16 gigs of RAM included, NVMe SSD included, room to install another SSD, gigabit Wi-Fi. Need I go on? For $1,200, this thing is an amazing value for the money. Now, it's not perfect. It does have compromises, and I'll discuss those in more detail in my proper system review of this laptop. But you've got to spend a lot more money than this to start removing some of those compromises. There are some $1,700 to $2,000 laptops to get rid of some of those compromises, but that's like 50% more money. So for now, we're just going to focus on the performance in this game, and I say all that because this is the very first video I'm doing on this laptop. The full system review will come shortly. We are playing Grand Theft Auto 5 at 1080p, Full HD, very high detail. So all the settings are turned up to very high, with the exception of one or two that can only be set to high. The ultra settings are not turned on, however, draw distancers are set to the max. The 3 sliders that are on the main graphic display page, those are set to the max. If you look at the real-time performance numbers in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see this laptop generally is running in the 3.7 to 3.9 gigahertz range. There's 3.9 right there. This is a noticeable clock speed jump over the 2017 model, which had the older 4-core 8-thread processor. This is 6 cores, 12 threads, and it's running at a faster clock speed. Now, the temperature is quite warm at over 80 degrees C, and I'll talk about this in more detail in the main system review. The fans are not silent when you're gaming. Now, when you're not gaming, when you're in Windows, this computer is very quiet, it's very cool, it's not an issue at all. But right now, at max performance with the GPU and the CPU pushed really hard like this, it's not what I would call quiet. If you game on headphones, it's no big deal. I wouldn't even try to game on the built-in speakers because the fans are so loud. The top line on our MSI Afterburner real-time performance numbers is the graphics chip itself, the GTX 1060. Now, it's generally at 100% usage. Not always, but generally it's at 100% usage. You can see the clock speed is just under 1800 megahertz there. This is important. The desktop cards generally can run at 2 gigahertz without a problem. This is a full desktop chip, just running at a slightly slower clock speed. So it's roughly 10% slower than a desktop 6GB GTX 1060. This is a huge improvement over the previous laptop graphics chips of the past. It's actually quite remarkable what they fit into here. Now, the temp is warm, but it's within normal operating parameters, so that's fine. As I mentioned before, the fan's loud, but it is fine. VRAM usage, 1080p, very high detail. You can see we're above 3 gigs of VRAM usage. In the past, I said 3 gigs of VRAM was enough 2 years ago when these things first came out. Now that we're in 2018, in the second half of it, 6 gigs is definitely the way to go. For the performance of this chip, for the lifetime of this laptop, 6 gigs should be plenty. Now that takes us to the CPU itself. Remember, this is a 6-core 12-thread chip. 100% CPU usage would be all 12 threads fully utilized. That's going to be a very rare occurrence indeed. Now, this right here is, that's a strange glitch. It happens occasionally, but that doesn't happen very often. GTA 5, you gotta love it. When we're using 6 cores, the CPU is at 50%. When we're using 4 cores, it's at 33%. Now, twice now in this recording, I'm going to segue here for a second. Twice in this recording, you've seen the video pause for just a second. That's the Elgato HD60S capture software doing that. That's not actually happening on the laptop. The laptop was utterly smooth. It just couldn't have been nicer to play this game on this laptop. I really have no complaints. So in these recordings, if you see a momentary pause, blame Elgato's frankly pretty lousy capture software. It's my only complaint. Their hardware is great. It does a good job. It's inexpensive, but their software is really frankly not that great. But moving on from that, CPU usage. Now, 4 cores is absolutely enough to play most games. 4 cores, 8 threads is absolutely enough to play any of the current AAA games. But it's worth noting that when you have a good CPU and a good graphics card, which we have in this case, we're using more than 4 cores. We're jumping up to 6 cores and occasionally going into hyperthreading. Anytime you see that go above 50%, not only are we using all 6 cores, but we're kind of dipping into the hyper. In fact, there's 63%. Again, that's a capture card glitch. That's not the game. So the idea that 4 cores is all you need and 6 cores is wasted for gaming is really... Let me just put the kibosh on that thought right now. Now, I have, at the time of this voiceover, already tested about a dozen games. You haven't seen them yet because I haven't voiced them over. This is the first one that I'm voicing over, but I've actually played and tested them on this laptop. Rest assured, I'm going to show you a bunch of games where I'm going to give that same speech over again, that 6 cores is absolutely, in my opinion, the aim point for 2018 AAA gaming. I'd love to have 8, but hey, it's a laptop. Everything's a compromise. Notice the high temperature on the CPU. It runs really hot. We're 3.9 gigahertz using 6 cores in a laptop that frankly doesn't have the best cooling solution among gaming laptops in general. There are some better ones out there. MSI's Dominator, Asus has some really nice ones as well, but like I said, those are $1,700 to $2,000 for the really nice ones. This is $1,200 with 144 hertz IPS display, so it's a compromise, but it is in fact really nice. It does run very hot. A laptop cooling pad would not be a waste for this laptop, and I have tested it with that. I'll talk about that in the main system review. Now, system RAM, well, it comes with 16, so there's no discussion here. You can see we're using 8.5. 16's enough. More is nice, and if you plan to do heavy content creation with this, which it will do very, very well, by the way, 4K video editing is really, really nice on this laptop. 32 gigs of RAM would be a better choice. And then finally, you can see our real-time performance numbers there. We are comfortably above 60 frames per second. We've had times we're above 100 frames per second. Now, I understand GTA 5 is not a brand new AAA game. It is I think my next of kin felt that. Did you see him crash? That was funny. GTA 5 is not a brand new AAA game. I get it. But it is a gorgeous one, and it definitely has a lot going on, especially being an open world title. I know a lot of people still play this game, which is why I still test it. As long as these videos get watched, I will keep testing it. If they stop getting watched, then I guess we should probably retire it. My understanding actually is GTA 6 is currently in development. Needless to say, unless they completely screw that up, which hopefully they don't, then it will become the next game that everybody wants to test. Hopefully they do what they did with this, they get it right. The PC version of GTA 5 was actually delayed from the console version so that they could do further optimizations and get the game done right. I really think that is the smart decision. Yes, it's delayed, nobody wanted to wait for it. It was many, many months after. Oh, here we go. Yep. And good night, Gracie. Don't worry, everything will be fine. And I'm sure it's still drivable. So, we almost got away too. The 5 stars were flashing, but not quite. In fact, I came down here to the beach thinking we'd get away, but somehow a helicopter instantly spawned. The police are just crazy in this game, but that's kind of the joy and the fun of Grand Theft Auto. Here is the product detail page on Amazon. As I mentioned, I bought this on Amazon myself, and if you decide to do so, please use that link down in the video description. It is an affiliate link. It does support the channel. If you do end up buying this, please use it. I would greatly appreciate it. And that leads us to our benchmark chart, 99 frames per second average. That was over about 20 minutes worth of gameplay through a night cycle, day cycle, etc. Most importantly, our 1% low was 64 frames per second. So 99% of the time we had at least 64 frames per second, but our average was 100. This laptop has a 144 hertz display, so you'll actually get to see those frames, which is very nice. Want higher frame rates? Turn the detail down a bit to high instead of very high, and of course your frame rate will be a bit better. Thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you liked it, share it with your friends if you loved it. Remember to subscribe to my channel with that big huge red button directly below. Post your comments below the video. Look at the video description for more details and links to everything, including a full playlist of games tested on this laptop. And of course, as I mentioned, the link to Amazon. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.